Welcome back to Presentation Perfect. In this tutorial, I've got 3 super creative slide design ideas that'll help you ace your next presentation. The best part? The last 2 don't use the morph transition, so you can recreate them on any version of PowerPoint. All right, let's get started. We're going to start by inserting an image, and then we're going to resize it so that it takes up the whole screen. You'll want to use a high-resolution image or upscale your existing image for the best results. Next, we're going to duplicate this image and crop the duplicate so it only takes up half the slide. Make sure to align it exactly with the original image. Now head over to the Picture Format tab, go into Artistic Effects, and choose the Blur option. Then, right-click on the image. Go to Format Picture, and under Artistic Effects, increase the blur radius. Feel free to adjust it as you like. Next, insert a rectangle shape and make it cover half of the slide, just like this. Go to Shape Fill, choose white, and remove the outline. Then, right-click on the shape, go to Format Shape, and increase the transparency. I'm setting mine to 45%, but again, you can choose whatever looks best. Now we've got this nice blur effect, kind of like a frosted glass overlay. One more thing, we're going to add a shadow effect. Click on the shape, go to Shape Effects, and choose a shadow. I'm picking the one with the shadow on the left. Then go to Format Shape again, and under Shadow, slightly increase the blur to soften it a bit. Just like that. Now I'll add some text. Insert your text box. I'm using the Aptos body font. Increase the font size to whatever fits best. If it's too big, you can always scale it down. Position the text where you want it, then hold Shift and rotate it. I'm placing it right here in the center. Now hold Shift, select the rectangle first and then the text. Go to Shape Format, then head over to Merge Shapes and select Subtract. This will cut out the text from the shape, revealing the image behind it. Now let's add a quote icon. You can go to Icons and search for quote, but I don't like the default one, so I'm going to use a rounded version from Flaticon. Just go to flaticon.com, search for quote, and scroll until you find one you like. I'm choosing this rounded one. Click on it, copy the PNG, and paste it into your slide. Resize and position it in the corner. I like using guides to keep things aligned. Now I'll insert my text. You can insert a new text box or use an existing one. Just paste your quote text, align it to the right, and position it neatly. I'm just nudging it slightly to make sure it lines up well with the icon. And we're done. You can also try this in completely different styles. For example, here I've used the girl with a pearl earring painting and just changed the overlay color to black to create some contrast. This way, the text really stands out. Feel free to experiment with your own colors, images, and fonts. Okay, moving on to the next quote slide. First, I'm going to insert a picture of Nelson Mandela and then change the background color to black just to create some contrast. You can use any background color you like. Next, go to Insert Icons and search for quote. I'm selecting a filled version this time. Resize it and change the color so it's visible on your background. Now click on the icon, go to Graphics Format, and select Convert to Shape. This lets us interact with each individual part of the icon. I'm selecting one of the quote symbols, going to Arrange, and choosing Flip Vertical. We're going to use this one as the speech or quote box. Now I'm going to move the image aside so we can work more easily. Insert a rectangle and position it over the square part of the quote icon. Extend it to your desired width and adjust the size as needed. Then change the shape's color to match the quote symbol. Now select both the quote and the rectangle. Go to Shape Format, Merge Shapes, and choose Union. That combines them into one shape, your quote box. Next, we're going to add the image into the second quote icon. Resize the image down a little, then rotate the quote symbol and position it on top of the image, centered nicely. Now select the image first, then hold Shift and select the quote. Go to Shape Format, Merge Shapes, and this time choose Intersect. This crops the image inside the quote shape. To make it pop, go to Shape Outline, choose Yellow, and increase the weight to 3 points. You can also resize the quote if needed. Now move the quote box to the left, right-click and send to back, then adjust its position to align everything properly. If you want to reposition the image within the quote, just use the crop tool and drag the image around until it looks right. Now let's get everything in place and insert a text box for the quote. Just paste your quote text inside and adjust the font size and color to your preference. White works well here. Next, go to Insert and add the author's name. In this case, Nelson Mandela. I've left all the font and color details in the video description if you want the exact same look. Now I'm adding a thin line underneath as a visual separator. This part is optional, but it adds a nice touch. Once everything's in place, select the image quote shape, go to Animations, and choose Teeter under the Emphasis section. Then open the animation pane, set it to start with previous, and under Effect Options, go to Timing. Set the duration to medium and the repeat option to until end of slide. This way, the animation will start automatically and loop until you move to the next slide. And there we go. You can try this in different colors, experiment with different animations. Like over here, I tried out a few different styles and added entrance animations. In this one, I added an entrance animation just to the image, along with a glow outline to the icon. I also added a PNG image inside the quote box. You can get creative and try out your own combinations too. Now, if you're wondering how I applied the entrance animations, it's actually pretty simple. I just clicked on the quote box, went to Animations, and selected Add Animation. Make sure you choose Add Animation from this button, not from the main dropdown, because that way, your previous animations stay intact and you can layer new ones on top. I added a fly-in animation for this one. Then, in the animation pane, I made sure the fly-in animation comes before the teeter animation. The teeter animation stays as it is, but we want the fly-in to happen first and the teeter to start with previous, so it kicks in right after the element appears. I did the same thing over here. This one has two animations. The first is a fly-in from bottom, and the second is a fly-in from top. I set the first one to start on click, and the second to start with previous, so they both appear together. And again, the teeter effect follows right after, just like before. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so this last one is one of my favorites. We're going to start by inserting our image and adjusting its size to whatever looks good. Don't worry too much about the size right now. You'll see why in a second when we do the trick. Next, I'm going to format the background to black for contrast. You can go with any background color you like. Now I'm going to insert a rectangle over the image, choose a fill color, and as always, remove the outline. Drag the rectangle to the right side of the image, making sure there's no gap between them. Then just position them at the center of the slide. To make this easier, I like to group them temporarily and then use the Arrange tools to fine-tune the alignment. Once that's done, go ahead and ungroup them. Now go to Insert, Icons, search for Quote, and select a filled version. increase its size to something that fits nicely in the layout. I'm choosing a size that looks balanced here. Make sure it's perfectly aligned, then change the icon color to white for visibility. Now select both the quote icon and the colored shape behind it, and press Ctrl-G to group them. That gives us our quote box. Next, insert another rectangle. This one should go over both the image and the quote box. Fill it with white and remove the outline. Now let's insert a text box. Paste in your quote text, set the font to Century Gothic, increase the size a bit, and center align it. Adjust the text spacing or padding if needed to make it look clean. Once it's ready, hold Shift while selecting both the text boxes and the white rectangle, and press Ctrl-G to group them. Then send this group to the back so it sits behind everything else. Now for the animation part, select the image, go to Animations, and choose Motion Path, Lines. In Effect Options, set the direction to left. Then grab the end arrow of the motion path and drag it back slightly, placing it exactly to the left of the image without any space in between. Next, select the quote box, apply the lines motion path again, but this time set the direction to right. Grab the end arrow and move it to the left, just a little. Open the animation pane. Set the image animation to start on click. And set the quote animation to start with previous, ensuring that both the image and the quote box part sideways at the same time. Okay then, so we're done with this one. And as you can see, it's just a simple animation. I really encourage you to try out different styles and make it your own. For example, here I did a version with Edgar Allan Poe. I sourced this illustration as a PNG, I've left the link in the description, and I also added some texture to both the text box and the background. I switched up the font and color too, just to give it a different vibe. So yeah, definitely experiment with your own combinations. You might be surprised with what you come up with. If you enjoyed this PowerPoint tutorial, consider supporting the channel by hitting subscribe, leaving a like, and dropping a comment. For more creative tutorials, be sure to check out the rest of the channel and stay tuned for more.